Hi and welcome, I am Helle. And today I'm going to take a look at the rules, the basic rules for Carcassonne, the new 20th edition of the game. And this game is for 2 to 5 players. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes to play and is for the ages 7+. And I will take a look at the basic rules. I have also made a video with the extra stuff, the extra rules, the extra elements that comes with this. But let's take a look at the basic rules for the game. Find these 15 tiles with this symbol on them. There are 5 of each. They are not used in the basic rules, so you can put them back into the box. And you don't need the flood tiles. There are 17 of these. You put them back into the box. The 5 bishop meeples, you can put them back into the box. They are not used in the basic rules. You should now have 72 tiles left, and one of them has a darker background. This is the start tile, so you can flip this tile to the other side, and all the other tiles you have to shuffle. And then each player, they will select a color and take all the meeples, and they will place one meeple on the scoreboard on the space with a 0. And you are now ready to play. This is a setup for 3 players. Let's take a look at the basic rules for Carcassonne with this 20th anniversary edition. And in the rules, they suggest you should pick the youngest player as the start player. In this game, a player on their turn, they will draw one tile, and they will place this tile to the existing landscape. And you need to make sure that everything matches. So you can only place a road with a road. You can't do like this. And a city with a city. And in this space, you can't place a road up to nothing. So you have to match the symbols you have on the side of the tile that you're going to place. When you place a tile, then afterwards, the active player can place a meeple on the tile they have just placed. You can place it in a city, or you can place it on one of the roads you have. And after this, it would be the next player's turn, and they would then draw a tile and place the tile according to the rules. This one could also be placed down here, or you can place it to continue a road or to continue a city. And then you could place a meeple on the tile. And you will play, each player will draw a tile, place a tile, and you will do it until the last tile has been placed. But let's take a look at how you can place these tiles and how you can score points during the game. Let's look at placing roads. We have the black player is in turn and they have drawn this tile. With this tile, they would be able to place it here, like this. They could place it here, but if they did so, it would end the road. When a road goes from one city to another city, then it will end and you will score it. And if the black player placed it here, then he wouldn't be able to place his man on it. You cannot place it on a road where there is already a meeple on it. So you couldn't place your meeple here because there's already a meeple on the road. But instead, you could place it here and then place his meeple on the road. If it was now the blue player's turn and the blue player draw this tile and he placed it here, he could place it here and then he would end this road. And he would score 1 point for each tile where the road is on. So it would be 1, 2, 3 points. And then the blue player would get their meeple back. And they would score 3 points on the scoreboard. So your meeple will stay on the board until you finish the road when you have placed it on a road. If this tile was placed here, then we have 2 meeples on the road. You couldn't place another meeple here, but you have 2 meeples on this road and it has ended. Then both players, they will score points for the road because they have the same amount of meeples. And here the black and the yellow player would score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points and they would get their meeple back. Now let's take a look at how to build the cities and score the cities. If it's the blue player's turn and they have this tile to place, then they could place the tile here. And if they did so, they would end 2 cities. And as with the roads, you cannot place a meeple on a tile if there's already a meeple in that city, like with the roads. And he wouldn't be able to place it here because there's already a meeple in that city. So you can't place it if there's already a meeple present. in a city. If this one was placed here, then you would score the cities, and both the yellow player and the blue player would score their city. The yellow player would get 4 points because you will get 2 points for each tile where there's a part of the city in. So we have 2 tiles here, so 4 points. And the blue player would score 3 times 2, so 6 points. And they would get their meeples back. If this tile had been placed here, then we would end the city. It would be 1 city, and we have this marker on it, this shield. This is worth 2 points. And in this case, when you have more meeples in the city, you would look at who has the most. If a player has the most, they would alone score the points. And if there is a tie, then both the players would score the points. And in this case, we have 4 tiles times 2, so that would be 8 points plus the shield. So this would have been 10 points for the yellow player and for the blue player. And then they would get their meeples back. If you had a city like this, and this tile was placed here, then you had a big city where the yellow has 2 meeples and the blue has 1 meeple. In this case, only the yellow player would score this city. And the yellow player would score 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times 2, 12 plus the 2, 14 points for this city, but only the yellow player would score the city. And the players, they would get these meeples back so they could use them again. And the third type of tile we have is with monasteries. And with these monasteries, you can place a meeple on them. And you of course have to place them where there aren't any road or a city. So this one could be placed here. And the black player could place a meeple on the monastery. And these, they will score you points when they are surrounded by tiles. So if you have 8 tiles around it, you will score 1 point per tile plus its own tile. So this will score you 9 points. And then you would be able to get your meeple back. So if at some point this tile was placed here and the cluster, the monastery, was surrounded by tiles, then the black player would score 9 points and they would get their meeple back. If you at some point during the game draw a tile that you can't place, there aren't anywhere that I can place this tile, but I can't place it here because there isn't a city around here, and here I can't place it either. So this tile cannot be placed. Then you will discard the tile and draw a new tile and then place the new tile instead. And when the last tile has been placed, then you will go to end scoring. You will still score for the meeples you have on the board. And for the roads, you will score the same amount of points as if you had finished the road. So you will look at each of the unfinished roads where there is a meeple on it. And for this one, there is 1, 2, 3 spaces. So the blue player would score 3 points for this unfinished road. And the black player here would get 1, 2, 3 points. The blue would get 2 points for this one. And the black player here would get 1, 2, 3, 4 points for this road. And for the monasteries, the clusters, each player, they would also receive the same amount of points, of course, but only the tiles surrounding it. So the yellow player here, there is 1 tile missing, so the yellow player would score 8 points. And for this one, there's also 1 tile missing, so the blue player would score 8 points. And for the black player, there's 5 plus the 1, so 6 points for this one. And then we have the unfinished buildings, and they will score half the amount of points. So for this one, you will still look at who has the majority. They are the same for the yellow and the blue player, so they will both score points. And they would get 1, 2, 3, 4 tiles, and there are 2 shields, and each shield will score 1 point instead of 2 points. So each tile, 1 point instead of 2, and each shield is 1 point instead of 2. So half the amount of points. So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points for the blue and for the yellow player. And for this city here, the yellow player has the most meeples, so they will score this city. And this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus the shield, 6 points for the yellow player. And you will score the points on the score track, and whoever has the most points at the end of the game is the winner of the game. So this was a look at the basic rule for the game. They also have some more things added to the game, and I have made a video with that too, so you can watch that one, where you can use these meeples as farmers, and you can lay them down and score points at the end of the game, and you can bring in the bishops, which you can use, and I will explain those. And you of course have these tiles, these new tiles, and you have the expansion with all the arrows, and those I will explain in my other rules video, how they work, so you can implement them in your game. But that was my look at the basic rules. Thanks for watching.